live here in Houston, and it's very iconic. His product is very iconic of the American way of being a foodie, and more importantly, his store is iconic of the way um, Houston culture is all about. So let's welcome Mr. Chris Saladino. Hi, Chris.
How are you, Nancy? And
Yeah,
hello to you, Mr. Anton. It's much an honor to be here today.
yeah. Well, you must be tired. I think you're a very hands-on person working at your store.
Well, it's a full day. It is no doubt. It is a full
Yeah.
day.
Anyway, thank you for having us. But maybe we can start off with Filipinos are only acquainted with a champ burger that is locally made. I don't know if you've heard of Jollibee.
I've had many times people have come to the window and told me that this place reminds them of the Jolly Bee, so
Yeah,
I
so
have heard of it. Yes, ma'am.
that's a connection between Filipinos. But I know that Champ Burger is a go-to place of all diverse cultures. But anyway, before we go to that, more about yourself, Chris. What is your like? What is a culinary? How would you describe your culinary DNA? Is it from your family name alone? I don't know if it's Italian or Spanish or.
Our background is we are Italian, and
Mm-hmm.
my father opened up Champ Burger in 1963, which was the year I was born. So
Oh.
basically, I have been in Champ Burger my whole life. Played a little, worked a little, but now for the last 30 years, I mean it's open to close. It's a full day, but I've
Mm-hmm.
been around my whole life at Champ Burger, grown up there.
Yeah. So, what about what Italian? What is Italian in your palate?
Well, I love pasta. Now, Champ Burger is iconic Americana,
Yes.
hamburgers, hot dogs, French fries, chili dogs, all the things that, Americans have grown up on
Mm-hmm.
eating. But at home, we do eat a lot of pasta. I make a good suga, a good red sauce. And my wife is Mexican, so she is an
Oh,
excellent cook from Mexico. So we have quite a wide variety of foods that we consume on a weekly basis. So,
do you still go and visit your roots in Italy, or have you traced that back that far?
no, we are several generations. My grandparents were born in Bryan, Texas. So that
Okay.
was three generations ago. My great grandparents were born in Italy, but I have never been to Italy. Oh, I would love to go, but have never been there
Yeah.
as of
So
late.
we would call you the real deal of an American and a Texan, right?
Well, I think so. Yes, ma'am. Sure am.
Yeah, and that's because there are also many Filipinos in Houston or even in Texas, and a lot of Filipinos are already among the Asian population in the United States. And I think here in Houston, many Filipinos are nurses or they're in the medical field. But just like you Americans, we love hamburger. So maybe you could tell us, how did your father, by the way, what's his name?
His name was Michael Saladino, and he passed away about 4 years ago in
Oh,
October.
that was just recent. Yeah.
Just recently, yes,
So
ma'am.
he saw the growth of Champ Burger for how many generations? 63, 73, 83, 93 to 03 to 13. That's more than 50 years ago?
Yes,
60?
ma'am. And we continually see multi generations of family come to Champburger weekly. At some point, there are four generations that will be up at the window. So,
That's really nice. That's really
yeah,
nice. Yeah.
it's certainly a
So
historic.
yeah, so why did your father Michael think of putting up a business? How and why burgers?
Well, the property was in the family. It
Okay.
was a homestead back before the turn of the century. Actually, our family's been here quite that long.
Uh-huh.
But I think it back in the 50s when he grew up, the iconic burger stand was a drive up and a self-serve kind of a burger place, and he just loved it. I think he spent much of his youth in his Chevrolet at the corner burger joint, and it's just something that he loved, and he opened it, and it from right off from the start, it just took off, and has never failed for the last 50 years. So.
And you were there from the start, maybe as
Well,
a
I have,
boy?
well, I was born the year that Chamburger opened. So as an elementary school child, I went to Catholic school, not just right down the road from Chamburger. So I would come in the morning and kind of get things set up, and then he would go drop me off at school and then pick me up in the afternoon, and I'd come right back to Chamburger. So I spent the whole day there, you know,
Yeah. You're
child in high school as well, so I've been there almost my whole life. Yeah, working.
yeah. Well, like a Texan family, everything's big in Texas. How big is your family?
Uh, it is a large extended family.
Okay.
Uh, I've got 3 children, 5 grandchildren,
Hi,
and
Willie.
my father, yeah, my father had 2 children, and I've got 2 stepsisters, so we're a total of 4.
Mm-hmm. All right. And they're all in the food business?
No, they're not. They've all gone to school and they have their careers, and they've moved on to other things. It's a very difficult business, as you know. It is. It's not a business. It's more of a lifestyle. So
Why do you say that?
it is. Well, it takes 110% of my time, and that's how. If you're successful in the restaurant business, it has to be exactly what you do 110% of your time. You know what I
And
mean?
from the looks of it, when we saw you, it's also like you're enjoying yourself. So I guess that's a secret in business success.
Sure, a secret in life, but yes, I
Yeah.
do. I do enjoy myself. Now, I figure I've got another good 10 years. Maybe I'll start to think about some retirement after that. But I like to stay busy. I like to cook. I like to work with the equipment at Champ Burger. I like the people. We've got a great staff.
Yeah.
Uh, I enjoy what I do. Yes, ma'am. It gets me up every day and jump. I jump out of bed and
That's nice. It doesn't look like you'll retire even in 10 years, Chris.
we'll see. I've still got a little. I still got a little life left in me. So we'll see how long I go.
Well, okay. So how was the transfer of the business from your dad to you?
Well, I worked with Dad for almost 25 years before his passing, and after he passed away, naturally, Champ Burger went to me. It was as the will was probated, I was became the owner of Champ Burger.
Uh-huh.
But he had been retired for almost 12 years, so I was fully running Champ Burger for the last 15 to 17 years. So,
Okay.
yeah.
Yeah, well, I asked you earlier, I said, why burgers? And that will lead me to my question, why is America in love with hamburger? What
Well,
makes it
I
American?
think I think it's a quintessential food. It's something that you can eat on the go. It's a quick meal. It's a clean meal in a wrapper. Most people that we serve, they grab it, they get in their car, and they eat while they drive. And it's filling. At Champ Burger, it's very affordable, and it just makes it the perfect American quick lunch.
Yeah, because that differs so much from the way like Asians or like we Filipinos would eat. It would be on a table, usually with family, and a platter will be passed from one seat to another and all that. But still, Filipinos are also hamburger lovers.
Yes,
Yeah,
ma'am.
so would you say that hamburger would be the, as you said, quintessential food? Is that the number one I can't even say fast food. Is that the number one food that in the whole America?
I believe it is, Nancy. We sell. That is exactly what we sell day in and day out, all day long. And chili dogs, another quintessential food for America, another food that can be eaten handheld while you drive.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And it makes a quick meal for the workers that we feed that are on a time constraint. You know, they get 30 minutes for lunch, maybe an hour if they're lucky, but most of the city workers, the public workers that we feed, they only get about 30 minutes for lunch, and that is the perfect food for them.
Yeah, but then again, Chris, there must be about thousands of stores that sell burgers. But why does your place have a um lasting charm?
Well, Champ Burger, I think we sell kind of food for the soul as well, and plus the owner, my father and myself, we are there constantly. The same people greet you at the window every day. The same man cooks your burger every day. It's uh, it's almost like a loosely knit family. Our customers that come up every day, they know who we are. We know them. We know them by name. Most of the customers we know by name. We know what they eat. It it's a small mom and pop operation, but it has a niche that the big fast foods just do not have anymore. It is just it's community based. We know our people, we know our customers, and I think that makes the difference.
Yeah, so I guess towards the end of this interview, you can sum up all the secrets that you do or the business secrets that you have as advice to, because there are many young businessmen, business people now who
Sure.
have the funding, but not exactly the history that they
Well,
can cling to.
I know that for a fact you have to be on site. I know a lot of people that want to get into the food business or the bar business that feel like, they put the money into it, the revenue in, but they don't want to spend the time day in and day out actually working the business. And I think that's key. I can see what comes in the door, what goes out the door. I see the product, I order the product, I know what we use every day. That's another key. I mean, I just don't see how you can do a good job and be in a remote site, be some other place. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? It takes it, and it takes sweat equity too. You have to have the trials and tribulations to appreciate your employees, appreciate the customers, and everything that goes along with it. You've
Well,
got you've got to have boots on the ground. And when
right.
I say boots, I'm talking about the owner.
Yeah. No,
I've been
that's right. But and then you mentioned trials and tribulations, like what we had with some lockdowns and all this. So how did you survive?
to,
Was there a time when you closed because of this?
well, we were closed for the first 2 weeks when it happened,
When
and
was that?
that was almost 2 years ago.
Yeah,
When
2020.
Houston first locked down, we
Yeah.
closed for the 2 weeks. I really was unsure what was going to happen. And I had called the health department and several agencies, and they had no idea what we should do to stay open. Um,
Hmm.
but I'll tell you, this has been the toughest times in Champ Burger's 50 plus year history that we have ever had to navigate. Was this last 2 years of COVID? Been very difficult. We were able to put up plexiglass to keep us a distance away from the customers. We wear masks to this day. We still mask up. We wear gloves, and thank God, it's kept us safe. And to date, no one has gotten sick. None of the workers have gotten sick. We've been very lucky, but it has been a learning experience. I will say that.
A blessing.
But we've been very lucky. We've been blessed. Yes, ma'am. We have.
So there was never a time when you thought that you had to
No,
completely close forever. Like, there's some, it's
no.
a pity that some restaurants that I see along the way, may even in Westheimer,
Oh, yes, ma'am.
are closed permanently.
Sure. Well,
And
and there are several small mom and pop restaurants that had been around for years in our neighborhood, Second Ward, Champburger's neighborhood, that have closed and will not reopen. No, we were very lucky, and I guess by God's grace, we just went back and we started cooking, and maybe because there were so many other people closed around us, we were able to funnel maybe a little bit more business than usual. But we were very lucky. Yes, ma'am, very lucky.
Okay. So why the name Champ? Or
Well, I'm
the
not sure. My father came up with that name, and he knew he had a good product, and I think he just believed he had a champ of a product.
I
And
thought it was because you're so biased or you're so in love with the Astros like we are, and
well,
Altuve
we
or
love we love our Astros, we love our Rockets, the Texans. We say a prayer for, hopefully. But
so now we go into a little history patch of Houston, because as I said, all kinds of cultures go to you. And when I ask people, hey, you know about Champ Burger? Yeah, that place there where they have the burgers, that's been there for centuries, they said. See, so and you said 4 generations. So what makes Houston so diverse, or
well,
what? Yeah.
we are very proud of that diversity, or their diversity in the customer base. Champ Burger was built in an industrial neighborhood. It was very close to the port of Houston. So I think it had a lot of commerce traveling back and forth from the port, back and forth. We are in between a fifth ward and a third ward, predominantly black, predominantly Hispanic, that transfer back and forth.
Well, please explain what ward is, because we don't know that.
Wards was the designation of the way the city of Houston was broken into, um, like precincts. But
Uh-huh.
many years ago, they were called wards instead of precincts,
Okay. I
but
see.
which they're called now. They've updated the term. But I think also too, we feed a lot of firemen over the years. We feed a lot of policemen. We feed a lot of Harris County deputies, and I think you get a full range of ethnicities and makeups of people in those agencies.
Uh-huh.
And they bring their families, and plus our food is priced modestly. I think it affords people that maybe are strapped a little bit. They're able to come, bring their kids, and have a nice burger. Uh, Plus, we feed a lot of people that are on the move, so to speak, younger people that.
When you say feed, does it mean that you give the service people the food for free?
No, 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 no,
Part
no,
of
no.
your
We
marketing?
no, we charge everybody, but we feed them. We sustain those people. I mean,
Mm.
there's a lot of policemen that work all night. They come and get food for breakfast after their shift is over, and I'd like to think that we sustain our community. We're a staple that sustains a community. So.
Okay. Going back to you, Chris. Other than flipping burgers, by the way, how many burgers do you flip in a day?
Oh, it just depends, Nancy. Five or 600 would not be out of the range. Maybe it's more on a good day. Today was cold, maybe a little less, but we have a nice range of.
Wow, you must be double-handed. Huh? That's good. Other than that, what's family life like for you, or if you
Well,
ever decide to rest?
yeah, I have spent many, many hours at Champ Burger, as my father did, and I've missed many a family moment. My children are grown now; they've got their own families. So I did miss a lot, of my family time because I was at work, and it's just what was required. But the children understand, and they a lot of times would come to Champ Burger, to see me. So, and they bring the grandkids over, and that's always a treat. So
Yeah.
it's
Okay.
it's a full time job for sure.
Oh, all right. So maybe in 10 years doesn't look like you'll retire, Chris. But anyway, what's a typical American way of life? The way you saw it from the 50s to the present. Um it's so diverse that I would like to know what what's the soul of the American way.
Yeah. I see we feed people that are hardworking people and put in many, many hours a day. A 12-hour day is almost common for the people we serve. I mean, we see they get up early, they get up before dark, before sun up, and work until the sun goes down. It is a many hours of work for the general American. I do believe that is the way I see it. And we do enjoy our fun. We do love to dance. We love to eat when
Like
we have time. But
like
and we love our sports. But
yeah, like what are the dances that are American?
well, it kind of depends on where you're coming from.
Where's the
I
stuff?
personally, we dance a lot of Mexican dances, cumbia, because my wife is from Mexico. Cumbia, and
What's that? Cumbia?
cumbia. It's a Latin dance. It's a Spanish dance, a Mexican dance.
Okay. All
But
right.
it's always with couples. My children love to dance country and western. They love line dancing. Uh, Plus, I grew up kind of in the 70s and the 80s and the 60s too. So I went through all that, rock and roll kind of stuff.
Yeah, but I know about um I've heard about square dancing being also uh a an, a Texan or the Texan way of dancing.
That that
Square
would be
dance,
that would be a two-step probably.
two
A
step.
country two-step, yes, ma'am. And
Yeah,
my
that's
children and my children love a two-step. That's not a square dance though. A little bit different.
but there is a lot of square dancing
Yes,
here,
and
right?
there are square dancing clubs. People love to square dance, but that may be uh, a little bit. Maybe the generation before me were square dancers.
You mean me?
Well, no, no, no. We're on the same level, but just maybe the generation before my parents' generation were square dancers.
Oh,
I kind of
oh,
miss
okay.
that. I kind of miss that
Yeah, yeah.
that genre. But two-step is quite popular, and my children love the two-step. It's a simple dance. Even I can dance the two-step. So dance to any country music there is. So
So can I.
the two-step, sure.
Yeah. Well, I'm going to put you in a little test. Can you name five of the top things that makes makes you American? First, of course, aside from hamburgers, because I'd like to put a window to those who still are hazy about what was the good old Norman Rockwell way of living. You know what I mean?
Sure. I
Yeah.
I would I'll have to say family.
All
I'd
right.
have to say religion, no matter what. Church
Okay.
going. I'd have to say baseball. Baseball.
Uh-huh.
Sports is a huge part of what we do.
Okay.
Food, and then a culture. Depending on where you were from and where your family came from. Uh, Matters. The U.S. has traditionally been a melting pot of different nationalities, and that's the strength of the country, really. I mean, and the beauty in the country is that you can be American, plus you can still have your roots based in Italy or Spain or Mexico or you name it, in the Philippines.
Yeah.
Beautiful thing. And
Well, my husband said Houston has the most diverse population in the whole
in the
United States.
country. I believe that's true. I believe we just took that as a moniker. Yeah, I do believe that's true.
Really?
We've got a huge Vietnamese population, a
Why?
huge.
Why? Why
Well,
Vietnamese?
I think when the fall of Saigon happened in the 70s, I think Houston took in a large amount of refugees from Vietnam, from South Vietnam. And from there, it's just grown. And I'll tell you, our Vietnamese population and Vietnamese food here is just absolutely excellent. I know we've got several Filipino restaurants. We've got just
Yeah.
crazy amounts of Mexican restaurants. Now we've got a lot of Central Americans moving in with Central American food.
What is Central American food?
It would be, well, it would be like Honduras, Nicaragua, El Salvador. You'd see
So,
papusas, which is kind of like a empanada, filled
mhm,
with meat or filled with vegetables. Their food is not as spicy as Mexican food. Mexicans use a lot of peppers, a lot of different spices, and Central American food is much milder, but very good, very delicious, but milder.
yeah. So were you going there based on population of diversity or not?
Oh,
So like,
well, from my point of view, yes. We
oh,
see a lot of different Latino communities. We see a lot of Vietnamese people, um,
mhm. African Americans.
African Americans. Those people. They're American. They're Americans. You know what I
Yeah,
mean? So they
yeah,
have the same haunts and eats
yeah.
as everybody else in America. And we do
Okay.
see quite a few Africans. People who have migrated from Africa.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know much about their culinary taste, but I would certainly be willing to try. But um,
Okay. So do you know things about Filipino food?
well, I know adobo chicken, and I've
Okay.
heard that you make
Hey,
a very mean adobo chicken. So
who? Sorry
you,
again.
the uh,
Oh,
the adobo queen, does a very good job. I've heard that from family. So.
you only heard that from Willie.
You know,
You have to
well,
try.
that's all I needed. He's the only one I needed to endorse it. So
Yeah, no, I think maybe you can invent an adobo burger one of these years to come.
that wouldn't be bad. I bet that would fly. I bet that would be good.
Seriously, yes.
One for a while we had a grilled chicken sandwich that we would smother in mole sauce, which is a Mexican chili sauce, which was
Yeah,
very good, but it was kind of sloppy and it
yeah.
was. We don't have it on the menu anymore, but it was very good.
Uh,
So similar to adobo sauce.
okay. So you cannot eat burgers every day, Chris. What's your diet like?
Well, as I've gotten older, I've really tightened up on my diet. But there was a time when I would eat uh, several burgers a day. Just I'm the taste tester, so I had to make sure that everything was just right. But uh, yeah, I eat everything from Champ Burger. I just have, I cook it maybe with not as much. Don't eat the bread, more protein, a lot of eggs in the morning. Lunchtime, I may eat a salad with chicken on top or a hamburger patty on top. I've tried to stay away from bread, just trying to watch the carbs. But I do exercise. I've tried to exercise as I've gotten older. So
Well, okay. I think we have a lot of photos that Anton is going to show the audience, and maybe you could. It would be good for you to go through each one.
sure.
Actually, Chris, you had maybe not less than 100 or more photos.
Well,
So
it's very easy to get photos at Schamberger. I mean, these are just the customers. These customers are so unique, and they're all characters. Everybody that we serve is a character, and it is just so easy. A picture of them says 1,000 words,
who
and
takes your pictures? You do?
oh yeah, I do. I do. Now I didn't take the one of me and now the first picture you see is Poncho Claus, and he has been around for almost 40 years. He goes out at Christmas time and hands out free gifts to the underprivileged children of the neighborhood. His name is Poncho Claus. His name is Richard Reyes, but he
Oh,
goes by the moniker of Poncho Claus, and he is the Latino Santa Claus of the neighborhood. And this man has done more good for the poor children of the neighborhood than you can imagine. And he does it on a very tight budget, very tight budget. And every year he comes to Champ Burger and hands out gifts to the children.
How many years has he been doing this?
Well, it's for the last 5 years he has been at Champ Burger. Now he's done this for almost 40 years.
Mm-hmm.
Oh yeah, a great service to the community. Great service.
How
And
old were you then in this photo?
well, this year. This is
Oh,
just a
okay.
couple months ago.
All right. Okay.
This was in
Let's,
January when he.
mm-hmm. Okay. Let's see. Uh,
Well, yeah, the burgers. That's
the
another
burger.
thing.
The burger.
People can come now. This is a creation. This is not on the menu. People come up and all day long say, "I want you to make this. I want a 2 patty with a piece of chicken and bacon, and we'll make it for them." This is all off the menu stuff. And there's no way that I could dream this up. So I have to take a picture of it just to document what people eat every day. You know. So,
Well, it looks like a balanced meal. It has fiber, vegetables.
yeah,
It has
it, it's a balanced meal
mhm.
for a carnivore. It is lovely. That had to last that young man. This was a young guy. This was not a big. This was a young man, a thin young man. So this had to last him all day long. It's a beautiful sandwich.
Okay. We'll have another one. Okay. I took out this Veterans Day because I wanted to ask or show the people how you give service or you show your, how you.
Sure.
The secret is, I think, you involve yourself. But you're very participative in the things that happen in Houston.
Well, I'd like to think so. Yes. Now the picture with all the gentlemen in front of my father's mural, those men are retired firemen. And twice a year, they come and have their reunion at Champburger. So there'll
Mhm.
be 35 or 40 firemen show up. And these guys have all been since retired, maybe 8 or 10 years, but they get to come and I let them have free run at Champburger. I mean,
Okay.
uh, and these were my father's pals, my father's friends, and they still come back. In fact, a crazy story. They were there on the day that he passed away 4 years ago, having a reunion, and it just so happened that he passed away on that day. So, and they come back on that date for the last 4 years.
They didn't know he passed away that day?
I didn't even know. I mean, I got a phone call, right in the middle of this thing.
Oh, so sorry about that.
Well,
Okay.
it is, but it's heartwarming to have these guys come back because they
Yeah.
were all my father's friends, and we take care of them. Good people.
I think that's good old American tradition.
Sure, and
Oh,
these men have seen some of the most heinous fires in the city because they're all 35, 40-year veterans before they retired, so they have seen some of the most horrific fires in the city and fought some of the most horrific fires in the city of Houston, so
okay.
they're
All right.
honorable men.
Yeah. There are vignettes of people, different kinds of people that
Sure.
I chose for Anton to show,
These are
like.
these are our people. And this man right here is a horticulturist. He's been coming to Chamburger since before I can remember. I mean, he's been coming to Chamburger. His name is Terry. And
Yeah.
yeah, this little guy. And he only eats one thing. He eats a steak sandwich, and he's been coming to Chamburger for over 50 years. And he's a wealth of knowledge,
Make sure,
This
Chris,
young
make sure he watches the replay. All right.
I will. He may be as technically challenged than I am, but I will give it to him. And he's a good man though. And all these people are been coming to Champburger forever.
Uh huh.
The young lady with the 2 children,
Yeah.
she's been coming there since she was a young lady, before she ever had any children.
Okay. And there was even one who played the violin.
Yeah, and she lives right around the corner. She
Ah.
she is she's got a great, incredible voice, but she is an aspiring violin player or a
Mm-hmm.
fiddle player. I think she wants to be called a fiddle player. So
So I think I know a character that you have. It's a community spirit, right?
I, I believe so, and that's the spirit that my father started, and we just continue today. I think that's probably my job is just uh,
Yeah.
continue the legacy, that Champburger is. You know what I mean? I don't know if I want to. There's ideas about the menu. I think maybe I would like to change, but then I think things. People are so happy with what we serve. Why change just to
Mhm.
change for the sake of change?
Yeah.
People are happy with the food, and
Okay.
uh,
The man with the white beard, that
now
was
that is my
your
father.
father.
Yes,
Yeah.
ma'am.
Yeah. And he developed the recipe for this the
For for
champion
for,
recipe.
for everything. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, he is the concept of the building, the concept of the food, the
Yeah.
concept of serving the community. Yeah, yeah, he's the man. He was the
All
one.
right. Okay. Well, we have some more photos coming up. Uh okay. All right. And I see
And these
the,
two gentlemen off to the right, or my right, they
yeah.
are DJs for KPFT 90.1, which is a community-based radio station, nonprofit radio station in the Montrose. And
Mm-hmm.
periodically they have fund drives to raise money for the radio station, and we donate lunch to the phone bank, to the people answering the phones, and we've done that for years. So,
Okay.
and it's a great radio station that here locally, and
Uh-huh. All right. Next, let's see some more. Uh, okay, that lady with the black apron, I
yes,
think.
sir. She has worked at Champburger for over 35 years,
Uh-huh.
and
So,
she anyway, she retired, but in about 3 weeks, she called us back and asked could she come back to work because she was so bored at home. So she's at the window, right? She was at the window today and will be hopefully at the window tomorrow, hopefully for a long time to come. So
okay, that's good. She looks Filipina too.
I'll have to ask her about that, Nancy. But
Yeah.
yeah, this
So,
young man in the cart,
uh-huh.
he's from Mexico, and every day he pedals his cart and he sells cokes and fruit and chips, and he makes a stop in front of Champburger, and customers, after they get their burger, they'll get some chips or some fruit, or he puts spicy sauce on the cucumbers or fruit or whatever you want.
Yeah.
And he's a fixture in the neighborhood as well.
Yeah, Chris, we have guys like that too in the Philippines.
Sure.
They have their cart, they have their push carts with different kinds of snacks.
When we Nancy, when we go to Mexico, which is I go once a year. We've been going for the last 20 years. We never eat at a restaurant. We eat on the street, and the food on the street is just incredible. It is always fantastic.
That's
It's such
true.
a joy. I'm sure maybe the Philippines is the same way, but
Yeah. Yes. Yes. Okay. So, what about this group of kids?
these kids are from the elementary school right down the road.
Uh huh. All right.
I believe this might have been the last day of school. So they all came over. I gave them free Cokes because it was the last day of school. And
Yeah.
they were happy, to say the least, the last day. So,
Okay. It takes a manager like you to know people by their first names or their stories, which is
yeah.
really important.
Well, I do, and that goes back to, boots on the ground, being there every day. We know our people and our people know us. And there's a
Okay.
certain trust there.
Very pretty woman.
Well, that is Selena.
Really? The
Yeah.
actress, the singer,
The singer.
the one who.
Yes. Yes, that's Selena. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well,
Tell us about her first. Some people might not know.
Well, Nancy, she is, yeah, that Selena was a Hispanic singer from Texas
Yeah,
who became very famous and used to be at the rodeo,
yeah.
headlined the Houston rodeo several times, very famous. And tragically, she was killed. Um, she was killed quite a few years ago, which may have been, I don't know, 20 years ago, maybe 25 years ago. But her career was just starting to take off when that tragedy happened.
And wow, wow. You well, yeah. How nice. How
It,
nice to have her photo there.
it was a tragic story. I know that
Yeah,
quite a few of the employees were
yeah.
broke.
I also saw a Willie Nelson, a photo of Willie Nelson.
Well, now Willie, that
That's
that
not
might have been a Photoshop picture of
oh,
Willie
okay.
Nelson.
All right.
Honestly, I
So, okay, let's see. Let's go through some of the photos some more.
yeah,
Um,
these are all people that, yeah, absolutely. This young man, he comes to Champ Burger quite often. He's always carrying his Pomeranian. I'm not sure.
yeah.
He loves this dog, and he is there every time he comes to get a burger. He's got his Pomeranian.
He has to watch the replay too.
Okay, I'll tell him. Yeah, I'm sure it'll make him happy, and probably the Pomeranian happy too. So
Yeah. All right. Yeah. I even saw the people in costumes.
yeah, well, this little girl is from the neighborhood as well. She's quite a colorful character. She dresses like this quite often, and I think maybe we just caught her early in the morning. I think those are her pajamas.
Okay.
She comes over here. She comes to Chatburg quite often dressed in some very it's almost theatrical clothing, but I think those
Yeah.
are her pajamas. Yes, sir.
Now, Chris, you know what we call that costume? It's a cougar costume.
Well,
Yeah.
I've heard of the reference. I'm not sure.
Rrrr.
Yeah, something. She's very young little girl. Very young.
Okay.
Yeah,
Um,
this is my father here behind the Champ Burger sign that says 50 years.
yes.
At that point, he was in a wheelchair on a walker. So I wheeled him up. He was going to dialysis at this point. And I picked him up and I said, well, "Come on, let's go by Champ Burger." I just had this sign made. That was about quite a few years ago. Had the new
Yeah.
sign made, so I wanted
All
to
right.
get a snapshot.
Okay. Some more interesting ones before we close.
Sure. Let's see. We do have a lot of African Americans.
Hmm.
Very proud to see them.
Yeah.
They
Like.
I saw a lot of very proud people after Mr. Obama, President
Hmm.
Obama was elected. It was a very uplifting feeling in the community
Yeah.
after Obama was elected president. You could feel it. It was in the air, and
Hmm.
it was a very nice thing. Very nice. Second Ward. This young man's got a T-shirt that says Second Ward, and is our designated ward for
Okay.
our neighborhood, the Second Ward.
All
And
right. Yeah.
people that have been in Houston a long time, they still uh, will use the term Second Ward, Third Ward, Fourth Ward. They
Yeah.
still designate the neighborhoods by wards.
I never knew that word until now.
Yeah. And
Okay.
we started selling the Impossible Burger, which
Oh
is
yeah.
which
Yeah.
is the plant-based uh, burger that is basically grown.
This
It's grown. Yeah, it's uh, sure
maybe
Impossible.
maybe Beyond Burger.
Well, this is the Impossible is the competes with the Beyond, but the Impossible is much better quality, much better taste. Uh,
What is it? What is it?
it is the heme of the vegetables that is it's the hemoglobin of vegetables that is pulled out and grown. It is grown in a controlled environment, and as it grows, they are able to put it together and form it into a patty.
So
It's
it's plant based.
completely plant based, but it is grown. It is it is grown in a controlled environment. It's
Would you
not
say that?
it's not just plants minced together and put together like a maybe a black bean or quinoa burger or brown rice. It is that's the patty right there. And we have served this. We served this to a lady who got extremely upset, and she told me she had been a vegetarian for 12 years and that I broke her veganism because I fed her beef. And I had to assure her that it was not beef. It looks like beef. It is marble like beef. It's got white marbling like fat in there. It is almost impossible to tell the two apart. And it tastes almost like beef. It's an incredible substitute.
Are you saying, Chris, that this is trending now?
This is trending. This is it is not it wasn't developed for vegetarians, although it is vegetarian and vegan. It was developed to get the cattle off the planet, because cattle create so much methane and greenhouse gases, and warm the planet and contribute to global warming. It was developed for that particular reason to
Is it
get.
more expensive?
Oh yes, ma'am. Yeah, a 10-pound box is like over $100.
So a burger sandwich like that would cost
Is
double.
more expensive. We sell that for 10.95.
Wow,
Yeah.
a
Well,
patty.
we get it in bulk and we form the patties ourselves.
How much?
It's a nice 5-ounce patty. It's a very nice burger. We put it on a nice cracked wheat bun, mayo, lettuce, tomatoes, all the veggies. But it's a very nice alternative to somebody that does not want to indulge in beef.
Wow.
Yeah,
Okay. I hope it becomes a trend too. But does it become that expensive?
yeah.
All right.
I'm sure the price will come down.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Any more interesting ones that you'd like
Oh,
to?
yeah. This young man right here on my right. He was he was a extreme character. He was a merchant marine, and he just recently passed away.
Oh.
He was an artist, and
Mhm.
you can see the photo, the painting there. But he was
Oh.
just he was just a character, just an incredible character, just a real stalwart of Champburger. I mean, if I had to name, 5 or 6 people that were, stalwarts of Champburger, he was certainly one of them. And him and my father were very good friends. So
Okay.
good man. So,
Yeah. We're nearing we're nearing to our close, but maybe we can have a few more. Or anyway, yeah. So what I'm seeing, what the audience of Awesome Seniors is seeing is how people by their name or their characters or their quirkiness, and that's because you're there. So, and that's very inspiring, actually. Being in, some people who have never been to the United States, they might think that people are too busy, too impersonal, too material, too commercial. And then there's Champ Burger, in
well,
community, neighborhood, friendly, simple,
sure.
boots on the ground, right?
Sure. That's right. And I think we are we are busy, but life is busy. Life is all that you described. But I think at Champburger, maybe it's kind of a little bit of a safe zone, where you can kind of
That's
tone
nice.
down a little bit
Safe
and
zone.
just, be who you are, and that's another getting back to the key to success of a business is I think you've got to be there. I really do. I just, I don't think Champburger would have been the same with a paid manager in plant and me doing something else. I really think it matters. Um,
But I have a challenging question for you, Chris, before we
yes,
close.
ma'am.
What about what happens now? You have to be high tech. You
Yeah.
gotta
Well,
be high tech because
we
this is
have
now online.
yeah, I know. We have transferred a tad bit that way. We do have Wi-Fi at Champ Burger. We take credit cards. And for years we were just a cash business, but for
Uh,
about the last 10 years, we take credit cards. We do the DoorDash, Uber Eats, Grubhub. Um,
has that
little by little, we are being pushed into the 21st century.
yeah, well, did that take away a part of your in-store business, or did that add to your business?
Well, it's funny, Nancy. I don't think that it's added much because 75% of what we do is call in orders on the phone.
Mm-hmm.
And I think what has happened is people have just wised up and they say, I'll pay an extra $10 if I don't have to go and, go drive my car, get out of line, wait in line, pick up my food, drive back to the office. I'll just pay somebody $10 to come pick up the food at Champ Burger anyway, pay a driver. So I don't know that it has increased our business, none that I can see immeasurably, but it has opened up our business to little bit younger audience. You know
Okay.
what I mean? So,
So, ending with that, the younger audience, why don't you give some tips on a business success? Not necessarily for burgers, but being being a hands-on manager. Give some inspiring thoughts before we close.
well, these days, I think you have to take care of your people, your service people. I think you've got to pay them a decent wage, a wage that they can live on. You know, it's important to be there. I order, I know what comes in, I know what goes out. I think that's important. Inventory control. Um, we don't. We every week I close out the week. I mean, I am almost paid in full on everything that we buy through the week. I don't have never been gotten overextended. Which is easy to do. On
Yeah.
credit or you name it on the big service houses, Cisco, different places. It's easy to get strung out with tens of thousands of dollars worth of bills that hadn't been paid.
Mm-hmm.
Um, I've never needed to take out any large loans on Champ Burger. We've been able to fund everything ourselves. We've got a nice, been lucky to have a decent cash flow. A huge part of what we do again is our people, is our team. And we take care of them. And I not only monetarily, but we give them some time off if they need it. They're all from the neighborhood. They're older people. They all have families. They all have grandchildren. It's hard. Somebody that's young, a teenage, it's hard to put them to work and expect them to show up every day. They've got a lot of things going on, but
Yeah.
you know,
Also, yeah, like I don't think you're replacing your people with lots of modern gizmos or technology. It's still the flip and wait for it to cook in the hot
yeah.
iron and all
It,
that and everything. Yeah.
it's pretty simple fare, and
Mhm.
day weekly I get calls from people that have this gadget or that gadget or a grill that you just bring the top down and it cooks itself, or timers on this or timers on that, and I don't know. We're kind of stuck in our ways. It's worked for quite a long time, and I just change for the sake of change just does not make sense to me. You know.
Other than working 24/7 in Champburger, what's your bucket list?
Oh well, I have in the last few years I have started to travel. We go to like I said, my wife is from Mexico. We've been there many times. If we get a 3-day weekend, we always take a holiday on the big holidays. I get a 3-day weekend. We always take off on Friday and come back late Sunday night or come back Monday. Um, I'd like to go to Spain. I'd like to go to Italy. I'd like to go to Philippines someday. I'd like to eat my way through the Philippines someday. You know,
That's on the record, Chris.
That's
Forever.
fine. I'm guilty of that. I would love to do that. Um,
Okay. Why
I,
Spain? Why Spain?
I like to drink wine.
There's good wine here.
Yeah, I know. I'd like to go to Spain
Oh,
someday. I just want to
all
go.
right. So travel. What else?
Oh, I love to fish, and I used to fish quite a bit. I kind of grew up around the water, the salt water, and
Hmm.
enjoy that. Uh,
Okay. I
you
think
know, I,
I think next to baseball, fishing is also a sport
oh,
that's
it's
here.
it's a lifestyle. I love to fish. I'd like to, I'd like to spend some more time with my grandchildren. So and
How many do you have?
teach them what I know, what they need to know from their grandpa. So
Yeah. Yeah.
I
How many
I'm,
do you have now?
I have five
Oh,
grandsons. They're all boys. So
oh, you have a baseball team.
I have a baseball team
Oh,
or
yeah.
or a, or a fishing team.
A fishing team. Okay. Yeah.
Yeah, I'd like to spend a little bit more time with my grandchildren and teach them what only a grandpa can teach them.
Okay, Grandpa. So, in the last few minutes that we have, talk like a grandpa to the grandkids who still have plans on a what's the best business to put up.
People will always eat, and
All
I
right.
I think people, especially if you're coming from another country, your food. Here in America, people love ethnic foods. They love them, and you have that background. Maybe you have a grandmother that taught you how to cook, or your
Yep.
mother that taught you how to cook, and you've got that tradition passed down. People love. I love ethnic food. You know, People love ethnic food in America.
Uh-huh.
They may want it a little jazzed up, but like I told you before, street food that we get in Mexico is just incredible, and people would eat that up in Texas.
Okay.
They love a little bit of fusion, a little American, maybe married with a little Filipino food or Mexican food or Chinese food or Vietnamese food. And it's a everybody eats daily, and it's something that is a constant, and it's hard to beat. It's a hard to beat business.
Okay.
And the food truck industry has just taken off. So
Oh,
that is a way to get into the food business without
really?
actually having brick mortar property taxes and
Yeah.
everything that goes along with it.
That's very good advice.
No, people and the younger generation, maybe my children's generation, they love food trucks. They follow food trucks on Twitter. Where is this food truck
Oh.
going to be? And they love it.
So actually, what you're saying is, it can be the same product, but you also have to just mix it with, um, tweak it a bit, or
Tweak it a bit. I think it's a
food truck. Huh.
Sure. I think that is a big trend right now is say Asian fusion or Filipino fusion
Yeah.
or Mexican fusion. People love, especially younger generations than myself, they love that blend. And it's
Yeah.
it's new and it's inventive, and they get good prices for their food, and
So to the audience now of awesome seniors, and I know there are some young ones like you listening. This is very good advice from Mr. Chris Saladino, and uh, of course having the younger ones with the internet power in their hands
which
compared
is
to us, they have more chances now of putting up a good business. But as Chris said, always boots on the ground and simple food, maybe a fusion and all these things, and also be there. So I think Chris has been a good teacher. And as we end this, we want to thank you very much, Chris. Finally, we had you.
thank you, Nancy, and thank you, Anton, and
Yes.
the Awesome Planet. And I watched several
You
shows,
did?
and it was very good.
All right. So you'll be in it, and I hope you invite your friends and all the hundred or thousands of people who are in your Instagram photos to so that they can feel that they can relate once again to you.
I
Thank you
will.
very much, and more champion ideas for Champ Burger. God bless you, Chris.
All
Thank
right.
you.
Thank
Bye.
you, Nancy. God bless. Thank you.